One thing that I often have trouble explaining to non-cyclists is just how much more stuff you see when you're on a bike. You notice stuff that you would never notice in a car. It's not just obvious stuff like broken glass and potholes, there's also things like how other councils do stuff. I noticed one of those things whilst riding around the Bay Run today. I've gone past this boat mooring area under the Iron Cove Bridge hundreds of times, and I even stopped recently and jumped off the jetty on a hot day. But I have never looked closely at how the boats are stored. This piqued my interest because we used to walk the dogs along Winston Parade, and I saw the haphazard way in which all the rowboats were stored along the foreshore. I thought I'd do something different, which was stop and have a look at how the Inner West Council organises things. I've got to say, they do things much better over that side of the bay. This setup is much better organised than anything in Canada Bay, and it allows us the secure storage of a lot of boats in a relatively small area. These things are like oversized bike racks, although I assume you have to register your boat with council before you can park it here. As I was roaming around having a look, my next thoughts were, why hasn't Canada Bay Council taken up this idea? Has anyone ever wandered over here to have a look? Have they thought about it and rejected it? Or has this idea never crossed their collective minds? It's not like this boat park is very far away. It took me 8 minutes to ride to the Civic Centre in Marlborough Street, and that was uphill, and I was a bit indecisive about some sections of the route. Surely it can't be that hard for the appropriate councillors or council staff to cross the Iron Cove Bridge and have a sticky beak. Well, actually, given the state of traffic and parking, it probably is difficult and time consuming to do this by car, which is why they should use a bike for this sort of thing. The concept that I'm trying to get across is that hopping on a bike can open your mind to lots of other possibilities. We don't have to do things the same old, tired Canada Bay way. When we did our Bay Bug group ride on Australia Day, like many rides, it went through part of the Inner West Council, Ride Council, Hunters Hill, Strathfield and Parramatta Council. Other ride routes in the past have taken us through North Sydney, Lane Cove, the City of Sydney, Botany Bay, Canterbury Bankstown, Auburn, Holroyd, Waverley and Burwood. These rides provide an opportunity to pick up design and policy ideas from other areas. Some of the design ideas that we've seen have been really good, and others have been terrible, but the aim should be to pick those that work and bring them back to Canada Bay for implementation. Unfortunately, it sometimes seems that we're up against the curse of not invented here. You know, Canada Bay Council couldn't possibly adopt a design concept from the Inner West Council because those people over the border are all idiots and scoundrels and they've got nothing to teach us. Or, we couldn't possibly do that here because our residents would be up in arms, forgetting that people who live in Canada Bay do actually travel outside the council boundaries for work, shopping, sport and socialising, and that many have lived and grown up elsewhere before moving here. This isn't the Shire or North Korea. The last reason is we won't do anything that the City of Sydney has done because Clover Moore. And that's it. Everything she does is wrong, so we just ignore everything happening over there. Well, personally, my politics are miles away from those of the Lord Mayor, but I recognise results when I see them, and I respect that. I don't have to like her or her politics in order to see for myself what is going on, rather than having my opinions fed to me by certain media outlets and loudmouths. The bike allows me to look for myself and make my own mind up. You might just see some boat racks here, but I see ideas that are ripe for the picking. I'm not sure how we can overcome this closed mindset, but jumping on a bike would be a good start.